Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm just saving for my car. Okay, we'll get it right. Before you're off the board.
Is everybody coming here?
Nope. Oh. We travel back and forth to the Midwest in off season. Oh, boy. Yeah. I take your gifts. Yeah, I take your gifts in May. And I put some things in the mail, but when I go visit in May, I take little gifts and stuff. So.
Much smarter.
Yeah, cheaper too.
Yeah. Do they come here in the fall?
No.
So you go to that?
They think they're too big of a group to come out this way. But we tend to go back to May anyway. My mother-in-law's birthday. She'll be 96 this year.
Oh, nice.
Still lives by herself.
Wow.
Your cameras are on and your mic's on, John.
We call to order the City of Riverbank Planning Commission meeting for Tuesday, December 17th, 2019. Janet, could we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Chair John Dinan,
Here.
Commissioner Joan Stewart,
Here.
Commissioner Melissa Hughes,
Here.
Commissioner Mallory Finrich, here, and alternate Commissioner Steve Link.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Any planning commission member or staff who has a direct conflict of interest on any scheduled agenda item to be considered is to declare their conflict at this time. Hearing none, we'll move on to public comments. At this time, members of the public may comment on any item not appearing on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Planning Commission Board. Individual comments will be limited to a maximum of 5 minutes per person, and each person may speak once during this time. Time cannot be yielded to another person. Under state law, matters presented during the public comment period cannot be discussed or acted upon. For record purposes, state your name and city of residence, and please make your comments directly to the Planning Commission Board. Do we have any public comments at this time? Hearing none, we'll move to the consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar are to be acted upon by a single action of the Planning Commission Board unless otherwise requested by an individual Planning Commission member for special consideration. Otherwise, the recommendation of staff will be accepted and acted upon by roll call vote, and we will be taking matters separately on the consent calendar, and the reasons will become apparent as we do it.
Move for approval of item 2.1 and 2.2.
We hear a second.
Second.
We have a motion and second to approve item 2.1, posting of the agenda, and item 2.2, approval of the agenda. Can we have a vote, Janet?
Yes. Chair Dinan,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Finrich,
Yes.
and Commissioner Link.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 2.3, approval of the minutes of the October 1st, 2019 Special Planning Commission meeting, having been read by the individual commissioners and stands approved as submitted. Commissioners to abstain from the October 1st, 2019 Special Planning Commission meeting, Commissioner Stewart. Can we have a vote, Janet?
We need a motion.
Oh, motion.
Sorry. Can we have a motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion to approve in second. Item 2.3. Can we have a roll call vote now, Janet?
Yes. Chair Dynan,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart, abstain, Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Fenrich,
Yes.
and Commissioner Link.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 2.4, approval of the minutes of the November 19th, 2019 Planning Commission meeting, having been read by the individual commissioners and stands approved as submitted. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Roll call vote, Janet?
Chair Dynan,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Fenrich, and Commissioner Link.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 2.5, Resolution 2019-021 for tentative subdivision map extension 02-2019 River Run, California Avenue and Central Avenue. APN 062-021-008. Request for a 6-month extension on approved tentative subdivision map 02-2016 to subdivide 9.1 acres in the 51 planned development, single-family, low-density residential lots. Would staff like to expand on this?
Yes, staff and the applicants are moving forward to work on a development agreement, and we were concerned that the map would expire before the development agreement was negotiated. Therefore, it is staff requesting the 6-month extension. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Donna.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Janet, can we have a vote, please? Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Fenrich,
Yes.
and Commissioner Link.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll move on into the Planning Commission public hearings. Item 3.1, Development Agreement Number 03-2017 and Conditional Use Permit 06-2017, Department File Number 17-0018, elevations. Donna, would you like to take it from there?
Yes, good evening, Chair and council members, and Merry Christmas to you all. As you mentioned, this is Elevations LLC requesting a development agreement and conditional use permit for a cannabis dispensary to be called Elevations. I mentioned it is a development agreement which sets the conditions of the business that the city wishes to work with, and the conditional use permit sets the business location standard, conditions and standards. Here's an aerial view of the site. This is an older picture off of Google Earth. So you can see it had been a tow lot, and there were a lot of junk cars and trucks had been parked there, surrounded by a chain link fence. The street you see off to your left is 3rd Street, and the street along the bottom of the page there, or the photo there, is Atchison or Highway 108. Again, an older view. This is the tow yard front elevation. This is the site plan for the project. The building there is in the center. Some of the striping you can see is the handicap access from both the curb and from the parking space. The property will be cleaned up. As you can see, there's added landscaping along the right side and along the front of the project. The parking lot will be redone and the fence down and replaced. Here's the floor plan of the building. As you can see, there are office spaces, storage spaces, the lobby, the sales room. These are the elevations that were approved by the Planning Commission about a year and a half ago. The applicant wanted to move forward with the cannabis use and the architectural and site plan review at the same time. But since the city had, at that time, approved 2 other dispensaries, they decided to kind of take a breath and implement a moratorium to see how the other dispensaries were fitting into their neighborhoods. So this project was in process during that time and ended up sitting on a waiting list for 18 months until the moratorium expired. During that time, they were allowed to move forward with the architectural and site plan review of the outside of the building. So they received that approval for the outside of the building with a retail shell on the inside. So the major DA elements is that the term is for 3 years. They would be able to sell both medicinal and adult use cannabis. They would also have a public benefit towards infrastructure and services and neighborhood burdens, such as the other 2 dispensaries already have. In fact, this matches them. For the first 6 months, there would be a flat payment of $10,000 or 5% of the gross receipts, whichever is greater. That moves up to 15% or the 5%, and then to the end of the term, $18,000 or 5% per month. Excuse me. The public benefit goes into a fund that the city has been using for public safety items. In fact, we've been able to get a new police officer for the city, a part-time code enforcement officer that has been focusing on abandoned vehicles and helping the other code enforcement officer with the other problems in the city. And then it also contributed to the 26 cameras that the city put up. So this benefit would go into that fund, and the city would use it for those items, plus possibly additional police officers or some other public safety items they may choose to fund. So to recommend approval to the council for the DA, that you have to have findings made. It needs to be consistent with the general plan, and within your staff report, we do show the policies with which they are compliant, and that involves several land use policies and the economic development policy. For example, the city will pursue locally oriented commercial uses that are currently underserved in Riverbank and expand upon the existing base of local serving retail. The land use one is the city will encourage the revitalization of existing commercial areas through flexible development standards, public investment, property assemblage, incentives, streamlined entitlement process, and other flexibility items. A second finding is this will not be detrimental to the health, safety, and general welfare of the city. This dispensary is not supposed to be, or not projected to be, detrimental to the health and safety, just as the other 3 cannabis uses in the city have proven that crime has actually gone down in those areas. Could be because of more eyes on the street with cameras and more public in and out. But we have found over the last 2 years that these places are safe. Another finding is that it will not affect the orderly development or property values. In fact, we've seen kind of a surge of properties in the downtown, starting with the dispensary next door to City Hall South. Once they got involved with upgrading that older building, we've been seeing building starts and rehabs to existing commercial structures in the downtown. And we expect this to continue after this project, if it is approved. Also, it needs to be consistent with government code, and the DA needs to contain a legal description of the property, and staff has verified it is consistent with the code, and that the legal description is attached to the DA as attachment A. The conditional use permit itself focuses on things like the hour of construction, so it doesn't harass the neighbors. We talk about external lighting conditions. There's a hold harmless section. And the big one that most neighborhoods are concerned about is loitering and security guards. And those are both addressed in the security plan submitted by Elevations. Okay, so with the general plan consistency, any development agreement and use permit should be consistent with the following guiding principle of the general plan. Our city should be safe and healthy for all our residents, and we truly believe that will continue. As far as secret document goes, this is an existing facility that is not expanding. This is a rehab project, and so it will not have a significant effect on the environment, and therefore qualifies for an exemption. So we recommend that the Planning Commission adopt the resolution, that the City Council move forward and adopt its ordinance approving the development agreement. And we also recommend that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution to approve the conditional use permit for Elevations. And I would be happy to answer any questions. We also have the applicants in the audience tonight, if you have any questions of them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. Are there any questions from the commissioners?
Yeah, I just wanted to know about the DA. So what happens after 3 years? Does it just go away, or does it renew?
Yes. Before the 3 years is up, the city and the applicant will renegotiate. We will look at how the business is doing. Are they able to thrive and grow and possibly contribute more public benefit? If maybe they're struggling and the city needs to work with them, we'll take a look at that too, because we would like all of our businesses to be successful.
I think I'd like a little better explanation of the landscaping that's going to be involved. This is right on the main street. This is a great chance to improve the appearance. So I think I'd just like a little more explanation of the planned landscaping.
Well, the landscaping was approved as part of the architectural and site plan review. And while they haven't submitted the actual architecture plans, they haven't, right, to the landscape architect to be reviewed and come back for staff approval, I can tell you that there will be trees, there will be ground cover. It will really dress up the front of the property. And if you like, when that information is submitted to us, then I will, bring it to you for an informational item.
Great, thank you.
Were there any neighbor complaints or any nearby concerns or anything?
I had one call and a question, and the question was, the person wanted to know what a clone room was and what a clone. It is mentioned on the drawing. And the answer that I provided was that for a clone, you take a smaller branch off of a larger plant, and it goes into some medium to keep it alive. And basically, what they will be doing, they won't be doing the actual cloning themselves or the growing of any sort of cannabis. That's not part of their license. But you can think of it kind of like Walmart's plant center. There will be baby plants coming in called clones that will be part of their product line. So folks will be able to come in and buy their flour, maybe their edibles, and take home 6 plants, 6 clones for their personal garden. Hopefully they'll come to the city for their permit, which is required if you want to grow your 6 plants at home. And then once the clones are gone, they'll get more in. So they won't be cultivating the clones themselves.
Donna, I just want to confirm on the resolution number, if you can back up your display. This is showing 2019-022, and you're showing 020. And I don't know, and I'll ask legal if we want to make sure we've got the right number that we approve.
Okay, Well, the staff report would be the correct one. That would be 022.
Okay. That's what we show on the agenda, so that's,
Yes, I actually,
no problem.
okay.
Just picking of the nit.
Just as long as the motion reflects that, we're fine.
No other questions? I'll open this up for a public hearing. Any member of the public wishing to address the commission may do so at this time. The same rules will apply, 5 minutes, and time cannot be yielded. Do we have any public comment at this time? Well, please state your name and city of residence.
I'm sorry, my name is Evelyn, and I live here in Riverbank, downtown, in downtown Bellevue, 54 years. That place up there where they want to put this, that set list towed the cars to, for a long time before that, it was a gas station, for a long time, and they repaired cars there. I don't know if the tanks are still under the ground. I don't know what's in the ground or what's in the building from all of that. I don't know that it's ever been cleaned up between then and between the time that settlers took it over. But I'm wondering about what's going in there and stuff when they start working on the ground, what they're gonna do to the building, if they're gonna have to be, it's gonna be looked into to see what is there, how contaminated it is. And the other thing I have a question on is a clone room. In our city, I'm sorry, in our city code on the marijuana code and the city code, the only cultivation or the only thing with plants is either personal use in your house or cultivation, which is only allowed in the industrial area. If they're going to be bringing in live plants, selling live plants, if they're going to be cloning them and watering and fertilizing, isn't that a form of cultivation? Shouldn't the city council be looking at this and setting some guidelines and rules on this? Because this hasn't been brought up before, it's never been discussed when they did the marijuana code. If they do it, then the other two are going to have to be allowed to do it also. It's going to set a precedent for everybody.
Donna, do you have any answers to those questions?
Yes, they will not be doing cultivation there. They will not be doing anything that their state license does not allow them to do. As I mentioned, it would be similar to Walmart or Target having their plant center where small plants would come in on trays and they would go out still small plants. There's no growing, there's no trimming. This is only providing a product to the clients.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Hearing none? Public comment section is closed. I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2019-022.
I second.
I was entertaining a motion.
Oh, sorry. I motion to approve.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Janet, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Chair Dining?
Before I vote, I want to make a public comment for the record. I'm a believer in the free market economy, but I also don't want Riverbank to be the cannabis capital of the Central Valley. But because of the track record of the existing operations, and as Donna pointed out, reduction in crime, no negativity that I'm aware of, I will vote yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Commissioner Fenrich?
Yes.
Commissioner Link?
Yes.
And it passes 5-0.
Thank you, Janet.
May I make a comment?
Yes.
Just for the audience, that this is the Planning Commission making recommendation to the City Council. So there will be 2 City Council meetings in January, maybe January, February, where there is still time for public comment should people desire to.
Thank you, Donna. The second recommendation is approval of Resolution 2019-023, recommending approval of the development agreement to the City Council. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Do we have a roll call vote, please, Janet?
I'm sorry, who was the second on that? Okay.
Joan.
Joan?
Chair Dinan,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Fenrich,
Yes.
Commissioner Link.
Yes.
And it also passes 5-0.
Thank you, Janet. Item 3.2, Architecture and Site Plan Review 03-2019, file number 19-0014, Kiwi Guns. The project consists of the architecture and site plan review of a new two-story commercial building adjacent to the existing Kiwi Gun site. We have a staff presentation, please.
Do you need the clicker?
I think I'm okay. Thank you. Good evening, Planning Commission and public. Similar to the previous item, this item is will contribute to improve and enhance the downtown experience in Riverbank, and it is an infill project. The applicant proposes to construct a new 3,104 square foot two-story shooting range facility to complement its retail gun business. The new space will include an ADA unisex bathroom, classroom, conference room, state-of-the-art training facilities, and modern day shooting lane equipment. There will be 5 lanes for each floor for a total of 10 lanes with a shooting range of 25 yards shooting distance. This is an aerial of the site. The site's located west of 4th Street and on the south side of Santa Fe Street. As you can see, it's located in that vacant, underutilized lot next to the existing Kiwi's gun shop. This is shows the site again on the assessor's map. This is a floor plan of the space of the new shooting range facility. You see the 5 lanes there, access to the second floor, a classroom, and then you can see there you have there's an entryway where folks can come in through the main entrance and access the new shooting range facility on the first floor. And this is the floor plan of the second floor. There you see the 5 shooting lanes as well. And there is a site plan. As you can see, this proposed entitlement for the architecture and site plan review will occupy the complete lot, take up 100% of that existing vacant lot. And per the general plan, the designation is mixed use. And per the zoning, it's located in the downtown specific plan area, and that's considered the downtown core, which is the area that's colored red in the city. This is the existing space, in the north elevation. Let's see. Can we go back? Yeah, can we go back? Or? I think one more. Okay, thank you. And that's the existing south elevation for the lot. And there's the existing, again, elevation for the both lots currently. There's the north elevation again. This is including both lots. The existing building, per the assessor's office, was built in 1954, so it's been a long while. that space has remained vacant, so it'll be nice to see that occupied and used for a good purpose. And there's a west elevation. With the new building, the downtown specific plan does allow for two-story development in the downtown. This will make sure, with the proposal, as you can see with the architecture, it's supposed to be consistent with the existing downtown. There's the east elevation looking the other way. And those are the proposed elevations. The south elevation is going to be on the rear side of the property. The applicant decided, or working with the applicant, they were able to put some bands across the back of the wall on the rear facing the alley, so it kind of looks nice. You'll see it with the color rendering, how it looks a little bit, it looks better. And then on the north elevation, they're going to have some decorative work, nice big windows that allows the public to see in. It'll look attractive, so folks walking by can see that there's activity going on in the interior business. The second floor, you can see that as well. There will be like a pop out of the well-mounted signage, circular design as well. The facade will have a brick veneer over a CMU wall with a metal awning over the entrance. You could see here that will be a metal awning over the entrance, which is attractive and appealing for the downtown. And this is the colored rendering of the elevations. You can see a clearer picture of how the appearance of the new building and how it's consistent and it'll be seamless with the existing building as well. You see some planters. We asked the applicant to maybe help us and maybe provide some sort of landscaping to make it appear nice as well. And then you can see there like the large windows, so just like similar to the existing business where folks can see in to the retail establishment. The building materials will be exterior brick. Those are samples of the color that they'll use. And regarding general plan consistency, made the findings that, per policy design 5.1, there will be some architectural enhancements which will increase and improve the vibrancy of the downtown. Policy design 7.1, which is consistent with the downtown character as well, like we mentioned, the type of materials, the colors. The idea is that it's seamless and compatible with the existing building and the surrounding area in the downtown. Policy design 7.2, pedestrian access. As you can see from the elevations that we showed previously, there's wide sidewalks and paths for people to walk in and out. So again, we envision and hope a downtown that's busier and more active, so it's people friendly for people to walk around. Policy design 7.5, facade features and treatments. Like we discussed earlier, some window enhancements, some of the colors, the contrasting, the metal awning all contribute to making it a nice looking, attractive building. And then policy design 9.2, building scale and compatibility with the downtown as well. The proposed project will not have a significant effect on the environment and as it is categorically exempt under Article 19, Section 15332, parenthesis A through E, Class 32 infill development projects. Like we mentioned, this is an infill project in the downtown. That concludes the presentation. And the applicant staff is available to answer any questions, and the applicant and store owner are also here as well to answer any questions. So, thank you.
Thank you, Gabrielle. Any questions from the commissioners?
I think the building looks really nice. I'm just curious about sound attenuation. I'm just wondering how that works for the use in the building, and also if there were any nearby concerns about it, any from residential or anything.
Okay. With respect to the noise, we did let the applicant know that a lot of the sound and noise issues will be addressed in the building permit process, and we're going to make sure that it remains indoors. We checked with some other cities like Ripon to see what their noise dBA level was, so we'll make sure that we're consistent, and we talked to them to see if they've had any issues with surrounding community, neighbors, and we'll make sure that through the building permit process that the applicant and city staff works with them to make sure that there's no audible noise outside the facility. Regarding the second question concerning, yes.
Just
public,
neighbor
yeah.
concerns or?
We didn't receive any written comments, but staff did receive a phone call. A concerned citizen wasn't sure if, wanted to know if the use was appropriate and for the location. We let them know that per the downtown specific plan, this qualifies as an indoor entertainment use. So that's how staff is considering. Staff had heavy discussions regarding that, so we make sure that we're comfortable with using that and how that's recommended.
Okay.
Any other questions from the commissioners? Hearing none, thank you, Gabrielle.
Thank you.
Open this item up for public comments. Are there any comments from the public?
As far as the question about phone calls, that the first thing I'm gonna ask is, I'm not sure that you could even discuss this tonight, because this wasn't, when the notice that was posted and published, all it said was it consists of an architectural and site plan review for a new two-story commercial building addition. Didn't say anything about a gun range or shooting range or anything like that. How would anybody know? Until the reports came out late Thursday. So that was the only time that it was mentioned, was in this report for tonight, for the agenda for tonight. And Friday doesn't council, City Hall is closed Friday. But it was posted or published that it was a shooting range.
The staff have a comment.
Yes, this is a project for the architectural and site plan review of the building. It is not a hearing for a use permit or DA or anything for the shooting range use, which we determined was compatible with an indoor entertainment use.
Thank you.
So once it's built, I mean, they still have to come back and get it okay to put a gun range in there? Or, I mean, they're gonna build it as a gun range. They're not gonna build it and then have to come back. Are they?
Donna?
They don't need any approvals or entitlements for the business itself. We're only talking about the building.
Okay, well, I still think the public deserved to be notified that it was gonna be a gun range in there. Not only just the noise and the vibrations, this is our historical downtown, but the parking. For that, they're gonna have up to 80 people in there. I mean, they're saying they can use parking spaces up to 800 feet away. 800 feet away on the east side goes to residential, but it also goes to the library and the school.
I do know that the parking question was addressed in the package that we received as commissioners.
The other question I have is on the zoning, because in the downtown specific plan, the downtown core, it only has, it allows, for the Main Street retail and general commercial. Main Street retail only allows commercial on the ground floor, and it only allows residential or workplace on the top floor. And the only other thing would be general commercial. General commercial states that the intent is general commercial uses differ from Main Street in that they consist of commercial sales and services that do not create significant pedestrian activity and generally serve customers by automobile. Well, you got one of that, but the rest of it, it doesn't. As far as entertainment, it says uses including and similar to amusement centers, indoor entertainment, performing arts, music venues, etc. And it talks mostly about 300 square feet. This thing's over 6,000, 3,000 square feet, 6,000 square feet. I don't consider this, I mean, to me, it doesn't seem like this, I would consider this an entertainment. But they did put in, they did the specific plan. They also included another section on what they call destination retail entertainment. And if you look at the last page of the staff report, it says that this is a destination, meant to be a entertainment destination. But there is a separate category for that, destination retail / entertainment, and it's only allowed in the industrial cannery district. So I don't know exactly how this really applies down here in the middle of our historical district, which is mixed use, and residential too. It doesn't really fit the category, except if you're going to call it a destination, which your staff report does, then that's where it needs to go.
Thank you for the comments. Do we have any other public comments at this time? Hearing none, I'll close the public comment period and entertain a motion for recommendation of approval of Resolution 2019-024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Danica, we have a roll call vote, please.
Yes. Chair Dinan,
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart,
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yes.
Commissioner Finrich.
Yes.
And Commissioner Link.
Yes.
That passes 5-0.
Thank you, Janet. Moving on to item 3.3, zoning ordinance amendment number 01-2019. The project consists of a proposed amendment to Title 15 Land Usage Signs, Section 153.285, specific requirement for certain zones concerning design standards for city electronic signs. Staff reports, please.
Good evening again, Chair and Commissioners. As you mentioned, this concerns electronic signage. So a little bit of background on this project is the City Council desires to provide the community with information on events that are happening, whether it's festivals or swim meets, and we're looking at electronic signs to do that. They moved forward and we helped amend the downtown specific plan to allow city electronic signs. Then council decided that they would like to see it in other parts of the city as well. So that's why this is coming forward as an amendment to the municipal code and not the downtown specific plan, which was already discussed and approved. Other reasons besides event information is there's always been a desire to find ways for local downtown businesses or other local businesses within the city to advertise, to get their word out there, to get more people to come in. And then finally, we also had looked at safety information such as evacuation routes during an emergency. In fact, we've been working with the local sign company for the approved sign downtown to basically have a plug in it. So when the power goes out, or say we have a major flood and people are evacuating, Public Works can bring a portable generator to that sign, plug it in, and we'll be able to keep our citizens informed even if the power grid is down in the city. So we view that as a huge bonus for our community. So the amendments that are discussed in the staff report concern electronic signage, and that was also expanded to not only be a pole-type stand only for city electronic signs, but also we started looking at monument sign definitions. There was actually no definitions for electronic signage or monument signs in the municipal code. So the electronic signage definition talks about city signage, and it talks about the use of reader boards for like churches and banks, time and temperatures. And there was no definition for monument sign as well, which the church or the bank would use that type of reader board on. So the very first thing we looked at was adding those two definitions. When the City Council approved electronic sign for the downtown specific plan, we just approved the use. We didn't actually put in design standards thinking we would leave it up to the city council to determine what fit in. But we did get some kind of feedback from the community requesting to see some sort of standards. And so I spoke with the different sign companies and found out what type of signs they normally use for traffic areas like we have in Riverbank, and tried to select design standards that would work for our community, whether it's height or dimensions or specifically setbacks, like for the monument signs. You know, you don't want them so close to the street and the driveway that people can't see past them when they're trying to pull out into traffic. So there was a need for that, and so there are some design standards in these amendments. There are exemptions for city signs as far as the type of not locations, but the like the width. Some of the current sign standards prohibit or restrict signage from extending over public right-of-ways. And so these exemptions for the city signs kind of removes that, because it's our property and it's our sign, and so there doesn't really need to be a restriction for the city sign on city property. So exemptions were put in. There was some information in there for additional temporary signage. And then as I got to looking through the sign code, there were standards in there for the R4 residential zone, which the city does not have an R4 residential zone. So I removed that. And then we did, a couple of years ago, put in or add CX1 zoning, which is a mixed-use zoning, but no one went forward and put in any sign standards for that zoning. So that was added to the commercial category, so there would be sign standards for those properties wishing to have such. Whoops, too far. I knew I'd do that. Any sort of signage or electric sign amendments to the municipal code should be consistent with the general plan. We believe that measure SAFE-4, working with emergency responders to be able to have the type of equipment and necessary tools during an emergency for our community, that this fits right in there with that. As far as CEQA goes, this isn't actually a project per CEQA. This is an amendment to the municipal code. So there is no potential for this action tonight to result in a physical change in the environment, either directly or ultimately. So the recommendation is for you to review the information that staff has provided in your staff reports, to take public comments, and to make recommendation to the City Council by approving a resolution which would recommend approval of the ordinance. But as you know, we are here to look at the amendment, to discuss it, to determine if this is what really fits within our city. So, my understanding is if there is a piece of the amendment that maybe you don't agree with, you could remove it and then take the resolution to City Council as a recommendation. You could choose not to approve it. It's entirely up to you. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Donna. Any questions from the commissioners? Hearing
Done
none,
a lot of homework on this, Donna.
A lot of cities we've looked at. Thank you.
we'll open it up for public comments. Are there any comments from the public at this time? Hearing none, public comment period is closed. I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2019-025.
I motion to approve.
Second.
Janet, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Chair Dynan?
Yes.
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Commissioner Finrich?
Yes.
And Commissioner Link?
Yes.
Okay, passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Item 4, Planning Commission comments. Any comments from commissioners? Hearing none. Item 5, counter referral correspondence or information. It shows none on the agenda. Has any of that changed?
No.
Item 6, staff comments, city council updates.
The item that I had at the last city council meeting was, I drafted the report for the city clerk to recognize Robert Ball, your former commissioner. He did appear at the meeting and stood with the mayor and received a plaque in his name. And so that was really nice. And then there was an item to appoint Mr. Link to this position at the city council, the planning commission dais as a regular commissioner. But unfortunately, Mr. Link wasn't available to make that meeting. So the mayor will still make that appointment in public hearing, probably at the next council meeting. He thought he might be able to make this meeting and make the appointment, but it'll be at the next city council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. The regular planning commission meeting that will take place in January will be January 21st, 2020 at 6 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.